Okay, got the airbox, the tubes that go to the airbox back on. Carbs are all synced up nice. I'm going to do a valve adjustment too. But you need a 13 millimeter for the nut on the end of the valve cover, and then they're 10 millimeter nuts on the inside edge. All out of there. I hope I have a 10 in here, huh? Voila! Okay. You take off the nut. There's a washer in there too. That'll come with it. All right, here. There's a nut that will need to come off, and there's one also down here. And now that it's nice and warm, I need to be careful not to burn myself. And that's how you get the valve cover off. There's that one. Make it look easy. That's what I said. Power of the blast, I'm moving faster. 1960. Yeah. All right. Those are to sit on. Yeah. That's right. There'll be hot oil in there. There's our rockers. These have a threaded adjuster on the end of the push rod that locks the threads to the rocker arm. Yeah, that's right. And then with the nut, and you adjust it with this one and lock it in place with that one. But you got to get it on top dead center first. And no matter what kind of engine you're doing a valve adjustment on, you know, they'll say in the book that, oh, you put the engine at top dead center, you know, if it's on a car or multiple cylinders, you do this cylinder, this cylinder, this cylinder, and then you turn it and you do this cylinder intake, and this cylinder's exhaust, and this one's intake, and both of them on this one. That's too complicated. Just put it on top dead center for each cylinder and do them one at a time, and you never go wrong. So this is how you do it on, I did this on Moto Guzzi, but I do this on the BMW too. Is put it in 5th gear. Oops, no, it's 1st gear. There's neutral. There we go. You put it in 5th gear because you have the most mechanical advantage ratios to turn the engine over with. And I do it like this. It's on the center stand. You just lift it up a little bit so it's off the ground, and you can just kind of gently tap it to where it needs to be, right? So there's our rockers. We want them both to be both valves closed. There it goes off of intake, and I can feel compression, so it's going on compression now. So what I do is go a little ways through the compression stroke, and the piston will be near the top. It doesn't have to be perfectly on top. It's got to be on the compression past, you know, where the valve closes and it starts to compress, but not all the way to the top past. So I push into the compression a little bit, and I don't quite get to top dead center, but it's almost at top dead center. And then I put some bushings in here to tighten up the slack in the rocker arms, because these are radiused at an angle, and if there's slop in here, then it will push it up and down as it opens it. It'll be like clackety, 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 and you don't want that. So oh yeah, don't miss the air show. It's the all-day air show. They've been hitting it hard today. Chemtrails like mad earlier. Loosen the adjuster. Now that I got my pilot's license, I don't ever have to stop. I just fill up the tank and fly in circles. I could go to the mountains or I could go to the beach, but I'd rather fly in circles over your house all day and night, every day and night for years. Because I'm a millionaire and money is no object. Just fill up the tank and fly in circles. It's the greatest thing ever. Yeehaw. Yay. Now that that's done with, some slack. Not in this one. This is the one with the bushing. Oh yeah, because it's the exhaust, and the exhaust wears faster because it's hotter. And it's still kind of tight. I was hoping it would have loosened up by now. See how tight that is? Put out and it stays there. And it goes back. But anyway, I think what we want is 0.08 millimeter on the intake and 0.10 millimeter on the exhaust, which is a tight tolerance for this old of a motorcycle, but it'll take it. Just don't let the valves be too tight, because that will burn the seats and then it won't run right. But you don't want them too loose, or it'll be clackety, clackety, clackety and physically break something. So you got to kind of like shoot for the middle ground. That's one thing you discover when you do mechanics long enough, is that sure, there's specifications for everything when they design it. I mean, every nut, bolt, washer, and every tolerance is figured out, but none of them are exact. None of them need to be exact. Torque specs, there's a range. It's at least this tight, but not tighter than this. There's a clearance. It's at least this much gap, but not more. You know, those kind of things. So, you know, and you need it to be in the middle. So nothing is exact. There's always a little wiggle room on those types of things, on gaps or on torque settings and such. As long as you know you're in the ballpark. So let's see if I can find feeler gauge. Great, don't feel the gauges. Right, yeah, I forgot. I'll be back. Hey, what's that? Oh, it's a jetliner going over. Because, you know, it's time for the air show.